Care for being summoned, but okay. Claiming that my client, the goddess Calypso, also known as Tiadama, is the biggest villain within the Pirates of the Caribbean universe is so interesting. You see, I would have thought the biggest villains were the literal colonizers and enslavers, and not the woman who simply just said no. Davy Jones was down so horrendously bad that he refused to read in between the lines. I love you so much that I want you to go away for 10 years. Does that make any sort of sense to you? I am begging anyone who agrees to those type of terms within a relationship to love themselves just a little bit harder and try walking tall. It's giving I love you, but I'm just not ready for a commitment. And yes, we would prefer direct communication when it comes to our interpersonal relationships, and that is on my clients. But perhaps Calypso knew how poorly Davy Jones would handle rejection and chose not to engage with that sort of toxicity, because he could have rolled with the punches and bounced on with his life. But instead, he got the proverbial boys together, the pirate lords, to trick Calypso into being bound into a mortal human body against her will. Let that sink in. A group of people in power linking up to strip a woman of her autonomy. Please zero in on who you're supporting before you dig yourself into deeper holes. Because this is who you're aligning yourself with. This is who you're going to the mat for. The same man that then abandoned his duty of transporting lost souls and chose to start enslaving them instead. Because let's not forget that Calypso was kind enough to give him a job and a whip. Some people are just ungrateful. And that's before we get to the self-mutilation where he carved out his own heart, because some people will literally do anything except go to therapy. Brother, she did not want you. But don't tell this man to stand up. No, Davy laid down, preferably on the couch of a professional. Rather than heal, he chose instead to make his heartbreak and guilt everybody's problem. If he lived in 2024 and not the 1700s, he would have bought recording equipment and started a podcast called Davy Jones' Locker Room. The sea is as uncontrollable, ever-changing, and tempestuous as it is loving and life-bearing. So is the goddess that commands it, which any sailor worth his salt would know, especially if he claims to love her. So the question isn't about the morality of Calypso's nature, but rather who was Davy Jones to think that he could change her? Because at the end of the day, if David couldn't handle a bad bitch, perhaps he should have gotten with a regular one. Thank you, Cleo. We will be taking no further questions. I typically don't care for being summoned, but okay. Claiming that my client